Hello friends, Class 5 Preamble. Our constitutional forefather felt that the preamble to the Constitution is necessary as it is almost impossible for the citizen of the country to read and understand the entire constitution. It is also the important because it defines the entire essence of our constitution. It is also known as the identity card of our constitution. Text of the preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved the constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, and democratic republic, and it secured to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political liberty of the thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of the status and of the opportunity, and the promote among them all the fraternity, ensures the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. Some facts related to the preamble. 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act has added three words of the preamble: socialist, secular, and the integrity. Meaning slash explanation of the each word. The we the people of India. It means the all the organs derives their the power from the people. People have given themselves this constitution to protect our rights and the freedom to ensure rules based governance. The we are the coming together and there is a strong resolution about what we want. Now, we the people of people clearly states the participation of the citizen of the country. It defines that the sovereign authority are the citizen of India. So sovereign. Sovereignty can be the explained from the dimension, example from the perspective of the country as whole and also from the perspective of the citizens. It implies that the India is not independent on the any other country nor it is the dominion of the any other nation. It is completely independent. It also implies that there is no authority above the country and it is the free to take all the decision. In the age of the globalization, the concept of the sovereignty is the questions by the expert. Globalization is all about the interconnected world wherein countries come together and become the part of the various multilateral institutions like the United Nations, IMF, International Monetary Fund, World Bank, and WTO, World Trade Organization. It is said that countries will have the compromise their the sovereignty to be part of the globalized world. They no longer have the freedom to the frame policy on their the own. For example, WTO, every country must give the most favored nation status to the rest of the country. In the spirit of the globalized world, India can itself a sovereign country because the decision to enter into this organization is the completely voluntary in nature. In the same manner, the country can also come out of this organization on its own. Sovereignty can also be defined from the perspective of the citizen. In India, citizens are the truly sovereign. They have the complete freedom to exercise their the choice at the time of the election. Socialist. When the Constituent Assembly discussed the inclusion of the word socialist in the word preamble, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar pointed out that the entire essence of the Constitution is about the establishment of the socialist pattern of society. Directive principle of state policy contained all provisions related to the socialism. Ambedkar had argued that there is no need to include socialistic in the preambles. In 1976, through the 42nd Constitutional Amendment, socialist word was added the preamble. The essence of socialism is to establish an egalitarian society, also known as the equal opportunity societies. It can be made the possible by the eliminating the inequalities in the distribution of the income and wealth. The socialism protect in the communist countries in the different from the what is known as the democratic socialism. In communist countries, the objectives of the socialism are achieved through the dictatorial regimes. The state will have a complete monopoly over the resources allocation and there will be no private property. The state can be nationalized private assets. The countries like the Soviet, Russia and China have practiced the type of the socialism. In another hand, the democratic countries like the United Kingdom, India, and the rest of the Western countries are the following democratic socialism. Here, both the government and the private sector coexist as part of the mixed economy. Between 1947 and 1991, India strictly followed the socialism with an emphasis on the state-led development. The private sector was the controlled and the regulated by the government through the license quota permit Raj. When this model was the failure in 1991, the India opted the market lead to development popularly known as the LPG liberalization, privatization and globalization. Critics have been alleged that India has diluted socialistic principles by the opting from the globalization and the privatization, but this criticism is not valid because the objective of the socialism can be achieved either through the state-led development before 1991 and through the market-dominated development post 1991. Socialism still remains the extremely relevant in the age of the globalization and the privatization because it is the responsibility of the state to reduce inequalities in the distribution of income wealth by the investing in education, health and infrastructure. Secular, the word secular is added 42nd constitutional amendment to the constitution in 1976. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar argued that there is no need to mention secularism in the preamble because their entire constitution is founded on the principle of the secularism. Article 25-28 defines the secular nature of the Indian state. The secularism had to its origin in Europe, wherein the state revolted against the domination of the religion institution. In Europe, secularism is defined as the concept wherein the state has nothing to do with the religion. There is no complete separation between the activities of the state and the religion institution. The state does not recognize any religion, nor does not the state will take into the consideration religious tradition and the customs while the formulating policy. Secularism is a defined negative term in the Western countries. Other words, and in India, secularism is the defined from the positive perspective. India concept the secularism had origin in the ancient tradition and the customs and the culture of the country. India is always known as the diversity of openness and respect for the tradition and the customs flexibility. This is the influence our constitutional forefather. The state recognized all the religion and the treats all of them equally. The state will not discriminate against people on the basis of their religion, fundamental rights, and also provided complete freedom to citizens to the practice, preach, and the propagate their religious belief. The concept of secularism has undergone many changes since the time of the independence. There were the instances wherein the political parties used the religions to win the election and retain the power, resulting in the communalism. It was started during the British time when the Britishers opted the divide and rule policy, but in the last 75 years, India has successfully preserved its secular credentials. Democratic. The essence of democracy is the sovereignty of the citizen. There are the two types of democracy. Example: direct democracy or indirect representative democracy. Direct democracy, here the people ruled themselves directly through the people help of the any intermediaries. Example: representatives. Take all the decision by themselves, and they also implemented those decisions. The best example of the direct democracy is the Gram Sabha in rural and the local self government. The representatives democracy, our constitutional forefathers have realized is the not possible to have the direct democracy from the such large country as India. They have opted the indirect democracy in the form of the parliamentary democracy, wherein the executive is made accountable to the parliament. The democracy in India is not restricted only to political democracy. It is also included social, economic and democracy. As the pointed out Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, political democracy is the meaningless unless it is complied by the social, economic and democracy. Class 6. Justice, social, economic and the political. This was included in the preamble as India society is categorized by many inequalities, which ultimately has resulted in the explanation of this section of the societies in the term of the tradition and customs. Social justice emphasizes on the equal treatment of the all citizens irrespective of their caste, color, ethnicity, gender, religion and language and religion and so on. It also means that the state will not extend any privileges to any section of the society. The state will also work towards the empowerment of the socially disadvantaged section of the society. Economic justice. The state will not discriminate against the people on the basis of the economic condition. On the state will work towards the empowering the weaker section and the poorer section of the society by the focusing on their education, health and infrastructure. On the important objectives of the socialistic pattern of the society is the remove, widening the inequalities in the distribution of the income and wealth. Political justice. The success of the democracy depends on the ability of the state to protect and promote political freedoms and rights of the citizen. In India, it is ensured through the freedom given to the people to express their opinion, to the vote in the election and also contest of the election. When we can overcome it, the caste discrimination, economic growth can be automatically lead to the decline in the discrimination plus political access. Liberty means the absence of the restraint or the limitation on the activities of the individuals. It also means the providing opportunity for the individuals to develop themselves. And the preamble secures the all citizens of India liberty of the thought, expression, belief, faith and the worship. Belief is the democratic in nature. One can believe the capitalism and one can believe in socialism. So the beliefs also allows the democratic choice. Faith is the much more rigid. Freedom is the individual liberty. Liberty is at the societal level. Liberty of the individual is essential for the effective functioning of the democracies. Individuals should be given the complete freedom to say that the act, but at the same time it must be remembered that this liberty can be not be absolute. Equality. Equality is the absence of the privileges to any section of the society. It also means the providing the adequate opportunities to the all section of the societies without any discrimination. Why equality is needed? Our society is a not equal opportunity society. It is guaranteed by the constitutional forefather through the fundamental rights. But these fundamental rights are not the absolute. Equality is the provided in the constitution through the fundamental rights. It is includes the civic, political and economic right equality. Civic equality includes the equality before the law and rights against the discrimination, equality of opportunity in the matter of the public employment, abolition of the untouchability and the abolition of the titles. Political inequality is the achieved by the providing equal opportunity for the people to vote in the election and the contest of the public offices, state legislative assembly and the Lok Sabha. Economic equality. It is ensured through the directive principle of state policy. Fraternity. Fraternity means the promoting the sense of the brotherhood, a sense of the brother togetherness and the belongingness among the people. India is the country with so much the direct diversity in the form of the uh, region, caste, language, gender, ethnicity, race, and so on. It is the very essence to the divide people and the create the unwanted identities. It can be ultimately result in the regionalism, communalism, secessionism and the terrorism. It can lead to the further partition of the country also. Our constitutional forefather have the realized the dangerous of the these devices identities. They believed that identity and the integrity of the country can be protected and the promote only when the sense of the fraternity is promoted among the citizen of the country. Justice, liberty, equality, and the fraternity are the interdependent and the point as pointed out Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, equality cannot be the achieved without justice and liberty, whereas the fraternity can help the removing the discrimination and exploitation within these socialistics. And the idea of the justice is taken from the Russian Revolution, whereas the idea of the equality, liberty, and fraternity are taken from French Revolution. Democracy can be either based on the monarchy or republic. For example, United Kingdom has a constitutional monarchy wherein the headed of the state position is the hereditary in nature. Another from the democracy is the republic from the government where the head of the state is the elected. For example, India is the republic because of the president is the elected. The is the preamble a part of the our constitution. Supreme Court in the Berubari Union case 1960 has ruled that the preamble is not a part of the constitution. It is the key to the minds of our constitutional forefather. It can also be used to clarify the ambiguity and regarding the interpretation of the articles of the constitution. In the Keswananda Bharati case 1973, Supreme Court rejected the previous judgment and ruled that the preamble is an integral part of the constitution. In the LIC of the India case 1995, Supreme Court ruled the preamble is a very significant part of our constitution and also integral part of our constitution. Preamble is not justiciable. The provision of the preamble are not the enforceable in the court of the law. The preamble is not a source of the power for the legislature. It also does not impose any the restriction on the power of the legislature. After the Keswananda Bharati judgment, Parliament has amended the preamble through the 42nd constitutional amendment. It has included the words socialistics and secular and integrity. Amendment to the constitution definition, and the amendment may be defined as the addition of the provision on the new and the independent subject. It also includes the addition more the specific articles or the clauses. It also the includes the striking it articles or clauses. Why do you need the constitutional amendment? Our constitution is not the mere the strict rule book, but it has pointed out the first prime ministers late Jawaharlal Nehru and dynamic living the organism. With the passage the time the wishes and the demands of the people keep in the changing, and the constitution must be reflect those changes. Our constitutional forefathers have the provided the opportunity for future policy makers to the make those changes. The Article 368 has the provision for the amending the constitution. Constitution can be amended through the three different ways. Type 1. By the simple majority of the parliament, that requires the majority of the each half of the parliament and the majority of members present and voting. It is similar to the ordinary legislative process. Parliament Lok Sabha 550 maximum strength present and strength is the 545 plus Rajya Sabha maximum strength 250 present, and present is the 245. The simple majority is if the 550 members are present and voting, them simple majority is equal to 226. If the 545 are present and voting, then the simple majority is the 273. Following provision can be amended through the type 1 amendment, simple majority. Well, formation of the new state. Second, changing the boundaries and name of the existing state. Third, the creation of the evolution of the legislative council in a state. Fourth, administration and the control of the secular and the areas of the scheduled tribes. Fifth, salary allowance and the Supreme Court, High Court judges. Sixth, the laws related to the citizenship. Type 2. By the special majority of the parliament, it means the majority of the total membership of the each houses and the majority of the two-thirds of the members are each houses present and voting. The total membership means that the total number of the members and comprises the house irrespective of the effect they affect, whereas there are the vacancy or absentees. Example, total membership is 545. Two are the absent, so these are the vacancies, and the 543 is the strength. Now the suppose the 480 are the present and voting. For the special majority is equal to 320 votes, and the required plus this number should be the more than the 273 majority of the total membership. Provision that requires the types amendment. पहला, fundamental rights, DPSPs, all other provision which are not converted in the first and the third categories. Thank you. Subscribe.